Hello guys, it's me Mbongeni once again. Today I'm just going to talk about what is a tender. It's like a short tender series on how you go about your tendering process and how you actually get a tender. So today this is just a brief introduction on what is a tender, a tender is an offer like to do work or supply goods at a fixed price. It's basically one way, or the South African way to do business. Business transaction. I'd rather call it it's just a business transaction between a client and say a contractor or a service provider who's providing services. So tenders usually apply to bigger jobs and public sector work, in particular ranging from the local council to government departments. So the most important part of any tender response is the deadline. If you miss the deadline, then you will never get the tender. So whatever tender proposal that you need to submit, you should make sure that you submit it in the tender box at exactly that time or a minute before. Luckily, a minute before normally works, but if you try and aim for 12 o'clock, you end up getting there like at 1 p.m. or something like that. So it's a very high competitive process. Needs people who are extremely serious about what they're doing. It is imperative that you give your best when it comes to pricing, because pricing normally contributes a weighting of about 80%, and then 20% is normally other things like your BE score and stuff like that. Everyone wants the same piece of the pie, so it needs extremely serious people only. The toughest of your eligible competitors normally win, so you gotta give it your all. Gotta give it your best if you really want work and if you really want to actually get employed and reduce poverty. Cost is an important factor, normally weighting about like 80%, like I said previously. So basically, when you get into tender, you should make sure that whatever quotation you're going to give is very highly competitive, especially in the industry that we're in now, where there is actually high demand of work and then less supply of work. Concept of in economics of supply and demand still applies, and cost is not the only criterion. Obviously, you actually look at the jurisdiction, like your location, and whether contractor is local and everything, and obviously you must be deemed capable of delivering the goods or services required. I know quite a lot of people take chances, but there are professionally registered institutions that are around that to make sure that you manage to get to such a stage where you check whether you're capable of delivering the goods or services required. So, are you really ready to tender? Okay, so you have to pose this question to yourself and ask that, is your business capable of meeting the tender? Be realistic about your ability to complete those tasks that are presented there, whether it's in a BOQ or you're a professional consultant who wants to deliver a service, structural engineer or civil engineer. Whatever the case may be, remember, failure to deliver what is required at the stated costs, which is 80%, and within the time agreed, probably make you liable for penalties in terms of the contract, or once you get the contract and then you are supposed to deliver the contract in a certain time period. Concept of project management still applies, triangular concept of time scope and look, shortly we're going to view the guidelines. Okay, so you ready for tender? The guidelines that you need to have a registered business. Obviously, you need to go to the CIPC website. Cost you like about 125 rand to register your business, and then afterwards, you obviously need to register and be compliant with the relative statutory bodies like SARS, for your tax and everything. Does your company have a good banking record in terms of credit? Your bank? Ever you've done a couple of jobs, well accredited jobs where you've successfully completed all those jobs? Credit history and relationship with its suppliers and its clients. So this is extremely important, whereby you need to have good relationships with all your stakeholders that you get involved in, including your community. Community participation is one of the highly risky activities nowadays of the high employment in South Africa, over 35%. So you need to actually engage your community and see how you can actually do corporate social responsibility and all this stuff. You should be able to deliver on time, on budget, in accordance with the specifications, like every time, because clients obviously want someone who's going to deliver the project successfully at that particular time. Because there are a lot of projects that need to happen, so you don't need to actually overuse the budget, because money from the fiscus needs to go to other projects. You need to be up to date all the time with your taxes, SARS and VAT returns and blah blah blah. You know, pays all its bills on time. It's a very important thing that you pay all your suppliers on time, especially in these difficult times of Corona. You know, today is the 2nd of July 2020, and we're hoping that everyone pays all his debts on time. You know, just pay your bills on time, and you have a good relationship with your suppliers so that they can give you settlement discounts and etc. etc. You know, you need to have the required working capital or cash flow and other resources to complete the contract before you start the contract. Ideally, I would say that you need to save up some money, but because you know, clients like the government now pay extremely late. I'm very disappointed with the government because they pay all the registered clients on the CSD database late, which obviously affects everyone, including the subcontractors, the community, and everyone. You know, so just government needs to improve on that. But as contractors, you need to have the required working capital. Have a working capital for about 120 days to allow for time for the government to try and expedite their payments. You need to be proactive, actively looking for business. You know, go all out to get some business opportunities. You need to be able to deliver goods or services of extremely consistent quality. You need to have qualified employees, professionally registered. If you want to really get the best out of your company, basically, because all those registered guys are really monitored by a statutory body, which is obviously enacted in Parliament by law, to monitor and control all the qualified professionals who are registered within that body. So you need to have, or you can acquire, or have the right equipment, clothing, or accessories to complete the tender. This is very important, as your resources are mandatory for you to complete any tender. You have at least registered all your employees with the Department of Labor, UIF, skills development, labor workmen's compensation, which is obviously COIDA, which needs to be renewed every year. As well as you have to have products that comply with SAP standards. But the huge takeaway with this whole thing is that you need to be extremely prepared to produce a high quality product, as well as you need to be cognizant of all the safety legislatory requirements as stipulated by the OHS Act of 1993, as well as the COIDA 2014 legal liability clauses that are the must-dos. And then thank you very much, everyone. Subscribe to my channel to get more info about tendering, about how you price and going about it. My next video is all about preliminaries and generals. Just watch the space so that I explain to you how the preliminary and generals items work in the BOQ. That will complete my session on the BOQ, and then we'll go further and look at other items that can make you 200% able to respond to any tender document or procure tender document at any given time. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Whoa.